You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast. And this is show number 399 for Sunday, the 6th of March, 2022.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hello there, Janie.
Hello there, Michelle, and how are we doing? It's been a long week for you, hasn't it?
No comment. But yes, I have had 3 days this week of 15-hour plus days, literally flat out, non-stop, and it's been a whirlwind, shall we say. I am not allowed to say any more than that, apart from we have had a lot of stress, a lot of hard work, and I'm now very, very tired.
Yeah, so we're just hoping Michelle doesn't fall asleep while we're recording this now.
I have got a hot beverage to keep me going, to keep me ploughing through it. I have literally had about 3-4 hours sleep since Monday, so my brain is mush. I think tonight it's going to be a Chinese takeaway and a cheeky glass of red wine to enjoy, relax, and hopefully get some sleep.
Make up for it, yeah.
Absolutely. How are you, lovely?
Yes, no, I'm all good. I'm just taking each day as it comes at the moment.
Well, we're in March, and the news this week for Disney fans who love characters has been amazing. You can hug non-face characters again. And I'm like, well, this is in Disneyland Paris anyway.
Yeah.
I am like, oh my word, how amazing. And it's coming, Jane. It's coming back, and it's a real progression. It's a real big step forward into having normality. We're going to be having all sorts more fun back in the theme parks. I am so excited.
Yeah, it does seem to be that things are changing relatively quickly as well, aren't they? I think this is going to be the case. I think over the next few weeks we're going to see lots of things happening and lots of changes for the good, I hope.
Absolutely. And it could never have been a better time to contemplate getting that trip snuck in and getting over to a Disney theme park, because the parks literally are coming back to life again. It's just so exciting to hear and see. And of course, there are some very spectacular celebrations going on in Walt Disney World, in Disneyland Paris. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on in the show. But I'm intrigued to see what history you've got, because you've got history, I've got history, but it's a mystery to see what history we've each picked.
I'll stick to the 6th of March then.
Okay.
And we'll start there and we'll just see whether we've found out the same information. Oh, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? What I suppose this is the thing, isn't it? I know when I start my research, I look for things that tickle my fancy, something that grabs my attention that might appeal to me or might appeal to you, actually, Michelle. So I'm going to start with 1948.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. This was the birth date for musical theatre lyricist and composer Stephen Schwartz. He was born in New York City. Now, he collaborated with Alan Menken on such classics as Pocahontas, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Enchanted. He also wrote music and lyrics for an original television musical which I've not heard of called Geppetto, which apparently was broadcast on The Wonderful World of Disney in 2000. So that's going to be one to Googlify, I think. He also wrote a theme song for the Playhouse Disney show Johnny and the Sprites, something else I'm not aware of. But what I kind of know him better for is his other hit musicals, one of which is one of my favourite musicals of all time, which is Wicked.
Oh, I love Wicked. I absolutely love Wicked.
Just desperate for them to make it into a movie. Please make it into a movie.
I know, it would be awesome.
Yeah. And then a slight jump forward in time to 1963. This is when various versions of a song, I think you might know this one, There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, written by the Sherman Brothers, was recorded for the upcoming, at that point, World's Fair. And I just thought, well, we have to give it a mention because it's such a classic song, and all of us Disney nerds love this particular song and Carousel of Progress. So, yeah, you see... It makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, doesn't it?
And I did have that one myself, yes.
Did you? That's all I dug up for the 6.
All right. Well, I'm going to do a biggie. And
Oh,
something
okay.
to me that links in, because in April, a few years back now, it was my very first trip to Disneyland in California. I was so excited to be able to get out there over the Easter holiday. And on this day, all the way back in 1955, the Los Angeles Examiner ran the story, Giant Disneyland Hotel Gets Underway. Supposedly, it was planned to open on the 15th of July 1955, and it was the first phase of a $10 million Disneyland hotel project, which was designed by the architectural engineering firm of Pereira and Luckman. However, it was delayed. It was delayed by 3 months. It opened on the 5th of October 1955. It wasn't owned and operated, though, by Disney.
No, it took a fair while to get into Disney's hands, I think, didn't it?
It did indeed. It was opened as a motor inn by Jack Rather under a special agreement with Walt Disney.
Well, I suppose it was the first venture, wasn't it, into the hotel market for Disney. So come a long way since then.
Absolutely. Today it has 990 rooms. The suites are Adventureland, Big Thunder, Mickey Mouse Penthouse, Pirates of the Caribbean, and a fairy tale one. Which would you fancy, Jane?
I don't know, actually. I mean, it's not cheap to stay there, is it, anymore?
Ignore the price. Ignore the price. Revenge travel rules.
You see, you do this to me, Michelle. You throw me these curveballs, and I'm like, oh, I don't know now. Why do I have to pick something? That's just not fair. Probably something Mickey variant, I think. Maybe the princess, though. Because I know, quite fancy being girly.
I think I'd probably go down the route of the Mickey Mouse one myself, because it's the classic, gotta love a bit of Mickey. Can you believe, though, in its early days, it had a doctor's, a dentist, as well as a hairdresser and beauty salon.
Yeah, like I say, things have changed somewhat, haven't they?
Yeah. Roll on from 1955 all the way to 1984, and hello Michael Eisner, when he was chairman and CEO of Walt Disney Productions. He wanted to get out of this arrangement that he had with the Raver Corporation, and he wanted to bring the Disneyland Hotel under the umbrella of the Walt Disney Company. Raver refused. He refused, as he had historically over the years, even when Walt was alive. However, in 1988, when Jack Rather had passed away, his widow Benita Granville, she also died, and Disney then snapped up the entire Rather family company. And then they got the Disneyland Hotel in their sweaty little mitts again. One day I'll stay there, even if it's just for a night.
Yeah, that was probably something that maybe the more sensible approach, Michelle. I know we talk about revenge travel, but perhaps a 1 or 2 night stay and then somewhere cheaper the rest of the time we're out there.
Well, that's what I try and do is, I economise and think, right, okay, I can manage, 10, 11 nights at a value. If I can have a couple of nights, even one, with a little bit of luxury, a little bit of TLC.
Yeah, another to do on our bucket list, Michelle.
Yeah. 2012, Jane, I had a date for you there.
Okay.
Disney's newest cruise ship, the Fantasy, sailed into its home port, Port Canaveral in Florida, on this day in preparation for its maiden voyage to the Eastern Caribbean on the 31st of March.
Wow.
Oh, and I'm looking forward to going on it this year.
I was going to say, yeah, not long now, Michelle. Are we counting down yet?
Yeah, of course I am. Of course I am. But, Jane, there's an even more humongous celebration happening on this day, this very day, the 6th of March.
Please enlighten me, Michelle.
It's the commencement of the 30 years Disneyland Paris.
Woo!
It's so exciting, Jane. It's so exciting. Seeing all the amazing things that are happening in Paris. Not only the fact that you can go and hug Pooh Bear again, but the fact that The park is going to look splendiferous again. They've already revealed the beautiful castle, and at different times of the day the paint scheme sort of resembles different shades and colours already. There's new character costumes, and we all love a good selfie with a good old character costume.
We do indeed.
So exciting. And the palette just seems to be sort of, well, decadent, to be honest. There's no words I can say other than decadence. But the thing that's got me, that I really, really love about Disneyland Paris, is the Central Plaza.
Yeah.
The sort of like hub area, if you may. There's lots of little mini gardens.
Yes.
And they have put together 10 themed gardens, and they've called them the Gardens of Wonder. And they're slowly coming together. Like at the beginning of the week when I was starting my research, basically there was grass, some planting, and sort of mounds. And these mounds, I must admit, looked hysterical. It was like, oh, okay. Are we sort of going like all craterish and just having these big weird mounds? But no, they're sort of like plinths, if you like, to put into these very modern takes on the amazing Disney villain and Disney princess sculptures. And there's going to be 30 of them in the 10 themed gardens. And I've seen some concept art, and I've seen some video of the ones that have already now been installed. And Jane, they look stunning.
Yeah,
they really
are,
do. And I love the fact that they are true to the colours, but they are sort of like, you know, a little bit different, and they're very modernistic sculptures. And I love the fact that Disneyland Paris do this in their sort of hub area, and you can get amazing pictures with the castle as the backdrop. I'm so excited to see it fully finished.
Yeah, I mean, they are very well done sculptures, and I think it just completes the aesthetic of Disneyland Paris, because we always talk about what a beautifully landscaped and beautifully presented park it actually is, and these just seem to fit in so well with that, and very recognisable, very, like I say, very modern. I'm loving them.
Yeah, there's going to be merchandise, of course. It's the law, you know. Disney do like to print its money, and us fans will go and buy, which is very exciting. And castle stage show, and as I say, I love the castle there, as you said. And last weekend, I had driven down to see you, and this is a tenuous link, I know, but it'll make sense in a minute. I'd driven down to see you so we could have a bit of cabaret.
We did indeed, yes.
And I'd driven down a bit earlier, and I decided to go to a local shopping mall and do a little bit of window shopping. Very despondent, because obviously the Disney store had closed and there was no longer anywhere I could go get a Disney fix, although it does have a good Primark with some decent Disney. And my lovely friend Caroline started messaging me. Disneyland Paris is having a 30th anniversary, Michelle, isn't it? Have you any plans? And it's like, no plans. Would you like plans? Yeah. I always love plans. I can't. If someone puts an idea in my head, I just go with it. So literally before I could blink, and I'd literally said, yeah, I suppose I could go, Caroline had booked the lot. And I was like, what? I was not consulted in anything apart from the fact that would I be willing to drive down, pick her up, and use the credit that I have with the Channel people, because I never got to use it, to go choo all the way to Paris and sort of drive us to Disneyland Paris. And I said, yeah, sure, yeah, not a problem. And she asked for my holiday date, so I sent her the school holiday calendar, and literally she came back to me, right, it's booked. I was like, what? I didn't even know where we were staying, where we were going, nothing. And I was like, oh my word, please tell me where we're going. And she said, no, I'm not going to tell you. And it's like, which hotel are we going at? You know, I quite honestly messaged her back and said, look, I don't really care. I'll sleep on a park bench. I just want to go. It's now you've put the idea in my head. You know, that little seed has been planted. I got really, really giddy about it. And she messaged me back, and we was literally just checked into the hotel, ready to go and get ready before we meet yourself for the burlesque. And she said, we're staying at Disney's Hotel New York, the Art of Marvel.
You lucky thing, you.
And I'm like, oh my God. The first person I must honestly thought of to tell, not the husband to tell him I'm going to Disneyland Paris. Oh, no. I had to message David Maruka because I know how much he absolutely adores Disneyland's theming and the sort of emphasis they're putting into Marvel in the park. And he's not been able to get over to see this new hotel yet. And he basically said, I'll send you my credit card details. And I said, it's fine. I've got the car. I can fill it full of all the merch that you want. Not a problem. So very excited, Jim, because I can literally say I'm going to Disneyland Paris next month.
I'm going to say, because it's not that long away, is it, Michelle?
It's not, because it's really weird, because from the December holidays when we went back to school at the beginning of January, that term felt like it was never ending. Never, it literally went on forever. But we break up sort of mid-April. So I'm reckoning March is going to fly by, and it'll be like me and my little chugmobile driving down the M1 to pick up Caroline and check into the hotel. So I'm very, very excited, because I spent literally last weekend after getting back from the burlesque looking on YouTube at various other people's trip reports and room tours, and the rooms do look sensational.
And then top it all off, where, masks have come away, haven't they? And you can hug costume characters.
I can hug people.
And who knows, Michelle, by the time you go there, that might have even gone a bit further.
Jane, you do know that the first time I go and meet Mickey in his amazing outfit and I get to hug him, I will be literally a wreck. I will have mascara down my face. I don't think I'll let go. I think I'll have to have someone prizing my fingers off Mickey Mouse just to sort of like, I don't want to let go.
I wonder if some of these costume characters might have to have some training as to how to deal with the public who have been held at arm's length for the past 2 years, and just what reactions they could be encountering.
Well, I think if Disney are very savvy, they're going to change all of Disney's costumes now to be waterproof, because guests are just going to cry into the fur.
Yes, there could be some emotional times ahead.
Absolutely. There will be from me. I know it's been a fair few years since I've been to Disneyland Paris, and I've been there, quite a few times, and I've been incredibly blessed to have been and stayed at Hotel New York before its transformation. I've stayed at Sequoia Lodge. I've stayed off-site. We stayed off-site, didn't we, Jane?
We did indeed, yes.
And I've even been with Emily Rawlins, and I've stayed off-site in a hotel, literally train journeys away. And so I feel like I've done every sort of level, and to be able to go back and see and experience this amazing hotel gets me very excited.
Yeah, it does look good for the bits and bobs that I've seen from it, and all the fancy cocktails and one thing and another. So it should be a good time.
Well, our really good friend Craig Lucas from the Disney Parks podcast has just come back from Disneyland Paris, and there's a Skyline bar there, and it's very similar to what is on some of the Disney cruise ships, where it's projections of different skylines, and he got this amazing array of all these different cocktails, and there's one that looks like a lemon meringue pie, and I just thought, do you know what, I am salivating at the idea of that already. And you may have to, on a nightly basis, ring Caroline and say, make sure Michelle doesn't have too many cocktails.
Yeah, well, you want to be able to enjoy the park as well, Michelle.
True, and one of the benefits with being a Disneyland Paris hotel guest is that you do get to go into the parks earlier in the morning, and admittedly, not a lot is open, but if you're a character hunter, you could get some characters quite easily under your belt very, very quickly.
Yes.
And there's a special meet and greet in the hotel as well, where you can go to the Marvel Hero photo station and have a special moment with Spider-Man.
Ooh, does she be careful with your special moment with Spider-Man?
I'm quite concerned what my special moment with Spider-Man might actually turn out to be. It's like Michelle's not letting go of Spider-Man or whatever, but it's gonna be so much fun.
And all of a sudden, the Disney Dreamgirls becomes X-rated.
Yeah, yeah. I will video and record and do all sorts of bits of pieces when I do get there. So we've been sort of quickly putting together a plan because it's like, come together very, very quickly.
Not far away at all, is it? No.
And Caroline has been a wonderful enabler and she's booked us already to go and eat at Chez Remy.
Nice.
And that's really, really exciting because Caroline's never been there. And I know I introduced you into it as well. And I think you enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
And, you can't, when you take Jane out and steaks on the menu, she's going to get a steak.
I'm gonna be happy, aren't I? Yeah, absolutely.
So, we did learn, though, that you don't really need to bother with the desserts because we both felt the desserts, and I know you're not a dessert fan, and I am, but we just felt like Paris is the patisserie capital of the world, and we just felt that for the upcharge for the 3-course menu rather than the 2, the eclair wasn't that ooh la la.
Yeah, and it was fine, but it wasn't anything to write home about, was it, per se? And this is the issue that we've always had. It just seems a shame, doesn't it, with Disneyland Paris? Because, like you say, Michelle, French cuisine is known for its pastries and everything, and it seems to fall a little bit short in that area.
Yeah, which is a shame. So anyway, we've booked in. I think we're doing an early dinner. I think she got a 4:30 reservation for us on Monday. So that's really exciting. We managed to get a lunch reservation at Waltz, and we've spoken about Waltz before the other week. So very excited that it's going to be opening, and I'll be able to report back about what we ate there.
Nice.
Literally this evening, just before I came on air, we decided to dip our toes in and decide to book at the Manhattan restaurant, which is in Hotel New York.
So 3 lovely meals to be had then, Michelle. All fingers crossed.
All fingers crossed. Now, the Manhattan restaurant we're a little bit confused about because on the website there's the menu Greenwich Village, which is a set menu where you can either have a starter, main course and dessert for €42, or you can have it with wine for €62. But it doesn't mention anything else on the app. That's the only thing you can have on the app. But on the actual website, it's an a la carte menu as well.
Oh, okay.
So for me and Caroline, we were quite interested to try the little desserts there and not really go too much into the pasta and risottos and things like that because it's not something I tend to eat. So I was just thinking, oh, well, I can get myself a nice little bit of a starter and then try all the desserts.
Yeah, that'd be nice if you can do that.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with that one, but that's going to be interesting. So while we're talking about Disneyland Paris, this week on their Twitter and Instagram, I got in touch with the Disneyland Paris show and said to them, look guys, you've been to Paris a lot more recently than I have. What are your top 5 snacks for Disneyland Paris?
Okay.
And they discussed it on their latest podcast and sort of shared some details about it. And I thought, well, okay, I've listened to your point of view. And then doing my research to go on the trip, I thought we could talk about what ours are. Because we've both been to Paris, in the last couple of years, and we keep up to date with what's on the menus. So, Jane, if you were going to Disneyland Paris right now and you were going to go and buy a snack, what would that first snack be?
Can I say early sandwich? And not for the sandwich, but for the bread pudding.
Do you know, if there's one thing that would lure Jane off keto is this amazing bread pudding at the Earl of Sandwich. It's so decadent, isn't it?
It is, and I think because obviously we don't have Earl of Sandwich over here, and it's kind of something that I associate with Florida and America and Disney parks. So it's kind of like I can get a bit of, it's like a bit of home sort of thing when I go. So sorry, I'm not going to be very good at this, Michelle, but yeah. I'll go for a sandwich.
Well, do you know what I'm going to do on the last day? I'm going to be rooting through the pile of bread puddings to get the longest sell-by date. And then when I'm driving back up the M1, I've got an excuse to call in at your house for coffee, and we can share some bread pudding together.
Okay, thank you.
To those of you who've not tried it, it's really soft in the middle, isn't it? And it's decadent, and it's got a crispy top, and it's got a little bit of spice running through it. It's got an amazing flavour profile.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just it's homely, and it reminds me of my mum's bread and butter pudding that she would have made. And I think it's just that sort of, it's your proper comfort food, isn't it?
And it's not that expensive. I think it's about €3.50, €4. It's nothing in money, is it?
No, and because the advantage of eating mainly keto and low carb is that one of them for me now is actually quite filling. So bonus, I'm happy to share.
Yeah, I'm not happy to share. I will quite happily pick one of these up and sort of nibble into it throughout the day in the park, because our favourite catchphrase is buy a snack, buy a spare, pop it in a Ziploc bag, and there you've got it all day long. But it's not just the bread pudding that is amazing at the Earl of Sandwich on the dessert menu, because you've got the triple chocolate brownies, which are ooey gooey in the middle with a nice little crunch on the top. Oh, they are such good brownies, Jane. And I do know we've got listeners who absolutely adore the chocolate pudding. I think the first time I went to Disneyland Paris with Emily Rawlins, I think one day she went to Earl of Sandwich, got a couple of bottles of wine and 3 chocolate puddings, and I've never seen someone so happy in my life. Sat outside, enjoying the sunshine, tucking into chocolate pudding.
Simple pleasures, eh? Simple pleasures.
Absolutely. And I know we're talking about snacks, but the Earl of Sandwich in the downtown Disney sort of area at Disneyland Paris is amazing, because you can get your sandwiches, you can get your salads. Like that classic, that one year we went together, I'd go up to the counter and said, can I have a chicken salad, please? No salad. And I literally just wanted a bowl of chicken with some cheese. And they did it for me. It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
So are we quite confident we've got 2 amazing snacks there, and we haven't even stepped inside the Disney theme park?
This is very true.
Well, I'm going to up the ante now with 2 more. And again, they're not even in the Disney theme park, but they're quite accessible. I'm going to McDonald's.
Are we going to actually get into the Disney parks at this rate, Michelle?
Eventually.
Oh, okay.
But the McDonald's has an amazing patisserie cart, and you can go and get really nice croissant. You can go and get macarons. Oh, Jane.
Well, you love a macaron, don't you?
I absolutely adore them, and they come in a little box, and you can buy a little box and nibble into them all through the day, because obviously in the park, you know, you might not hit the snacks that you actually want. So if I've got my little stash from McDonald's, I'm happy. But also, whilst I'm at McDonald's, they do a McFlurry. Now, in the past, I have been and had a Biscoff McFlurry with raspberry sauce on top. Oh my word. Like, in my world, anything that you can crumble Biscoff on top of makes it better. In fact, Biscoff with the chocolate pudding from the Earl of Sandwich would be amazing. You could use it as a spoon.
Yeah.
I bet Emily Rawlins is onto that already. So that's sort of done, sort of the downtown Disney area, unless I'm going to go to Starbucks and get something from there, because obviously a snack is a coffee, and I want something to fuel me for the day.
Yeah.
But actually in the park, Jane, anything coming to mind?
Well, I do struggle with Disneyland Paris as far as snack options go, because I don't feel that their food kind of represents what French food could be, if that makes sense. And their approach to menus and everything is very different to what we used to perhaps in the American park. So it becomes a little bit more difficult from my point of view anyway to find snacky things. I was kind of thinking about the fries that you used to get at Hakuna Matata, but I don't know whether they actually do those anymore or not.
Yeah, because last time we went together, they changed the menu and slightly on them, and you weren't as keen.
No, because I mean, it's fries, and maybe my taste buds have changed because obviously I don't normally would go for anything potatoey based. But I did used to like those as a little, treat. But I say I don't think they do them in the same format anymore. So that's a shame. And then it tends to be a lot of, I think when you go from restaurant to restaurant, everything seems to be quite samey, doesn't it? I think that's what we found looking for different options when we were there. That particularly say going for like a salad, it was kind of the same one everywhere we went. So I am struggling.
Hang on a minute, Fipsy. I ain't calling a salad a snack. I'm sorry. I'm putting my foot down. A salad is not a snack.
But I'm just talking about the overall
Right.
approach to food, shall we say, that you get in Paris.
They are culturally very different because in France, it's not, we've said it before, it's not a scoff, it's a savour, and they don't rush their dining. They like to make it a very elaborate affair with some wine and enjoy it and make it last. And they're not really a culture where they are going to go and get a Mickey bar and wander around the park. Even when you get you like your Magnum ice cream at one of the counter services, it's a city down thing. It's not a eat and wander food place, really,
No.
is it? And those little snacks are hard to find, but you can find quite a lot of crepes,
Yeah, true.
and you can find the waffles. They're not as good as overseas in the US parks, but they are good. And if you love Nutella, whoa. But we've not mentioned the really quintessential Disneyland Paris, amazing, sensational, slushy drinky, Dole Whippy, but not Dole Whippy
Yeah.
item.
Well, yeah, their version of the Dole Whip,
Yeah,
pineapple whip, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called now. But yeah, it was pleasant. I'm not sure, but it wasn't the same, was it?
it wasn't the same, but it was a damn good version, and they've also got a mango whip now, and I'm very intrigued because I'm a big fan of the mango Solero. So to be able to sort of have that take on it, so I'm very excited. And you never know, they might bring in something else. Maybe raspberry. Oh my word, a raspberry whip, and then we could get mango, raspberry, and pineapple all in one swirl. Oh my word.
I do have to say, Michelle, when we were there, it was rather warm, wasn't it? So it was actually very welcomed at that point because it was to have something refreshing and cooling was in much need, if my memory serves me right.
Oh gosh, yeah, and I'm hoping April, May time it's going to be the same.
Fingers crossed, you should get some nice weather at the very least.
Yeah, you can pick up some very generic muffins or donuts on Main Street, but for me, the key snack inside, if you've taken away the waffles and you've taken away the pancakes, the crepes, is going to be the big steak fries that you get from Toad Hall.
Ah, of course, yeah, and that's it. Now that is closed at the moment, Michelle, but I think it is due to be opening very soon, isn't
It
it?
is indeed. So I'll be able to go and wait for some fresh hot fries, lather them over in some mayonnaise, and be as happy as anything. And it's super cheap.
Yeah, and it's a gorgeous restaurant as well.
Yeah, it's always nice to eat somewhere like that. And if it's a nice day, we can sit outside and chillax. And yeah, perfect. I am hoping to see in the confectionery, maybe some cake pops. They have brought out some seasonal biscuits in the past. Who can forget the Wookie Cookie? So we'll see. We'll see what's going to be there. And,
Yeah, well, hopefully there'll be some 30th anniversary treats for you to indulge yourself in, Michelle.
well, we shall see. And I will be reporting back and letting people know what I've managed to find. So that's all very exciting.
Yeah.
Just literally after I pressed stop on the recording, Disneyland Paris put out some press news and we are stunned by what we heard. We are stunned, and it means my snack list is utterly wrong. The Mickey bar will be offered for sale in Disneyland Paris from today. Stop what you're doing, book a trip. There's going to be Mickey-shaped food. There's going to be pizzas that are that shape, ice cream, sandwiches, macaroons, madeleines, there's waffles. There's going to be all sorts of things. Disney have listened to the years of people protesting about the snack game at DLP, where people have demanded Mickey-shaped foods and demanded more snack in their snack game. And it's coming. Guys, as soon as I know more, I will be sharing. But there's one happy Michelle doing a happy dance. I'm going to have my first Mickey bar for nearly 3 years very soon. So before we sort of wrap up the show, there's a couple of other bits and pieces. The prices have popped up for Flower and Garden for the food booths. And a lot of returning favourites.
Yeah.
But the majority have seen a 50 cent, 25 cent, 75 cent price increase.
Inevitable, really, I think.
Well, it is. I was just talking to the hubster earlier, and he was, we were complaining about the price of fuel, and it's rapidly climbing, rapidly at the moment over here. I think it's just cost me £72, which is well easily over $100 to fill up my car this evening.
Yeah, and I've just had my email today from the gas company letting me know what they estimate my charges will be over the next 12 months. 54% increase, I think they said.
Yeah, I think I'll be putting on my log burner as often as I can.
Definitely.
So, Jane, I don't know what stone you've been hiding under, because we've saved till last the biggie, the place and thing we haven't talked about at all on the podcast, because neither of us are doing it, the Halcyon Galactic Star Cruiser.
Yeah. Oh, crikey, where do you not want to start, Michelle?
Well, I think this is a discussion that we perhaps maybe should have on our Patreon channel, where we can sort of delve deep. But it's really weird because we've watched the vlogs, we've read the blogs, and we've listened to other podcasts of people who've gone on it. And primarily at the moment, it's people who were sent as a guest of Disney through their, own media use. And a lot of people have said, look, if we're giving it free, we're only going to sort of talk about what there is. We're not going to review it. And a lot of places have done that. And they've said, well, we've actually booked it out of our own pocket, and we're going to also review that. So as the first, if you like, I'm doing the bunny rabbit thing, sailing was only the 1st of March. Those people aren't technically back yet as we're recording today. So I think we'll probably hold off on that and maybe sort of wait for the more genuine reviews, perhaps.
Yeah, I think there's an awful lot to discuss and an awful lot to think about. And yeah, I mean, we could get into a very long conversation about it, but I agree with you, Michelle. There's been lots of press little teasers and longer stays, and it's going to be interesting the next week or 2 or 3 to see reports coming out from people who are paying guests and whether their experience matches what the press were given, how it maybe changes, and the overall value for money, I think, is going to be the big key going forward.
Initial thoughts as it stands now. Would you go on it? Is it something you and Simon, as somebody who goes out and does a lot of cosplay in the Star Wars arena, you have plenty of outfits to wear on the old Star Cruiser. Is it something that you two would participate and do? Take it away the price point. Ignore the price point. Is it something that you think you would enjoy?
In one word, no.
Really? And why?
I think it's twofold. One, having seen a lot of the footage particularly from Simon and I's point of view, and being big Star Wars fans. And I know some big Star Wars fans out there are loving it. It doesn't look Star Wars. It looks spacey. It looks Star Trek-y. It doesn't look Star Wars. There's a lot of emphasis on the sequel trilogy, which is okay, but personally, we're much more the original trilogy focus and would prefer that aesthetic going through. And then the other aspect of it is, for us, is the case of it's not a hotel. You're going away for an experience. I think this is what people have got to get into their heads. It's not going to a hotel like you would do normally, and you drop your bags and you go off into the park. You are there captive almost for this 40 odd hours, whatever it is, and you're taking part in an experience. And as much as Simon and I are quite happy to go and don our Star Wars outfits and parade around a village hall or a conference centre somewhere and do our little bit and raise money for charity or whatever it is that we're doing, that whole experience thing is not our personal cup of tea.
Fair point, fair points.
What about you?
I'm not as big a Star Wars fan as yourself, and that possibly is peppering my sort of viewpoint. For me, it's like one big long extended mashup of a murder mystery dinner meeting an escape room, and they are two things I have never done in my life, never been interested in doing in my life. Not for me, because I don't want to be the action. I want the action I'm very passive with that. I don't want to be active. I want the entertainment to surround me and not want me to be the entertainment.
Yes.
And I'm not very much a person who enjoys that type of thing.
Yeah, and that's exactly where we're coming from.
However, for the experience, would I go? Possibly, but I'd be one of those people just sat watching everybody else. So would I get out of it the same as some of the other people who are really into this type of experience? Possibly not. I don't think it would be a good value for me. And I know we're not really talking about the money. But yeah. Anyway, we will talk more, I think, over the next week or so. We'll wait and we'll do a big discussion over on our Patreon channel.
Let's see what other people out there are experiencing and see if we can get a more of a balanced view coming out.
Absolutely. Well, guys, that's it for this week's show. I hope you have enjoyed our musings and mumblings about the world of Disney and its amazing theme parks. If you want more, you can always catch it over on patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls, where there are literally over 100 plus shows, and many of them are unique to the Patreon channel that you can catch in return for supporting us for a very small amount each month. Otherwise, you'll find us on Instagram and Twitter @DisDreamGirls, and we have our Disney Dream Girls podcast family page over on Facebook. But until next week, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.